Greetings to you, Crocoduck Army, and I hope you're all having as much sex as you want. It turns out that a lot of people are having a lot less sex than they want. It's not exactly breaking news, but in the internet age there's a group of people who call themselves InCels, which is short for Involuntarily Celibate. I considered this topic for a while with my patrons, and decided that it was time for a video about it. I spent a lot of time reading incel forums. Some of the struggles I read about were relatable and reminded me of some parts of my college years, actually. I was technically an incel from time to time, but then isn't just about anyone who's single and looking. Whether you're just single or an incel seems to be more about the amount of time you're single and how much failure at relationships you're experiencing. I experienced a lot of failure, but I never considered myself an incel. For someone who failed a lot, though, many of my memories of dating were pretty positive, or at least amusing. My first kiss wasn't until age 18, since I looked like I was 15 even when I started college. When I walked into my dorm room, my roommate literally thought I must be his roommate's younger brother, who just came along for the ride. At that age, I suffered to at least some extent under the same delusion that some young men and some incels have, that if I were nice enough, that eventually a relationship and sex should happen. I didn't think of it in a manipulative way, because I always wanted to be a nice person anyway, to everyone. I made friends easily and was always happy to be a peacemaker or sounding board when things got rough. What I didn't understand at the time was that more than that is necessary for someone to feel a romantic attraction. So when I had trouble converting friendships with women into romantic relationships, I was puzzled. Ah yes, the friend zone. Yeah, about that. I mentioned the friend zone in a video a couple years ago, and it became this huge argument in the comments about definitions between those who said it was simply a woman who wanted to be no more than friends with a man, and those who considered it to be the far more sinister definition of a woman who was manipulating a man for money or favors with the implied promise of a romantic relationship. This definition means women are sex vending machines who trick men into giving them all the money but have no intention of giving sex, which, interestingly, is much more similar to the common misconception of how a lot of young men think it works that I described a minute ago than what I've experienced in reality. I'm sure there were some women like that out there, and sure there still are today, but I had no money in college and I wasn't being relied on unduly for anything. I'm sure it's not news to anyone that there's plenty of people who suck at relationships, both men and women. A lot of them get better with time and experience. I was so bad at it that I burned the bridge to the ground with my first love in college, which I still regret. But if you're having relationship trouble, incel groups are the last place to go. Most of the posts are from a few different categories. There are numerous posts about femoids, which for many incels is their dehumanizing term of choice for women and how they are degenerate. They say that women need to be more pure and not put out so much for the jocks, who they refer to as chads. Presumably they want women to put out for them, though, so this is a bit puzzling. There are many posts joking about how the advice they get is stupid regarding getting out from behind their computer or engaging in hobbies and so on, because they say that everything comes down to looks for women anyway. The third category is the occasional sincere 18 to 20-year-old who wanders in thinking he's going to get some good relationship advice from those message boards. I feel badly for them because I want to tell them to run from those boards and talk to some actual friends. Before the constant talk of cucks and betas and chads drags them into the black pill vortex. There are many guys in the incel community who are taking the path of spite and hatred, but I really don't want to dwell on that. I would rather give some quick advice on how to be better at relationships for any incels that happen on this video. And I'm even happy to respond to comments or even private messages if you think that'll help, because I do empathize with some of them. Incels say it's all about looks. How someone looks is part of sexual attraction, yes, but it's rarely purely about that. It's about success in large part, not to be conflated with money by itself, and making your life's journey interesting enough so that a woman will be interested in taking that journey with you. Incels say confidence is not enough, which is also true, but based on the forums, incels are confusing confidence with bravado or even pickup artist types of behavior. You don't need to strut around like a badass. Have some plans and some goals. If you think you have better or additional advice for incels, please share it in the comments. Especially the 9.4% of the Crocoduck Army who are women.